Hi, I'm Sayla. Welcome to my art journey. In today's video, I am going to be creating a monochromatic painting with this color, Yellow Ochre. Why have I chosen this color? Because it's one of my latest additions to the collection. This is not included in my swatching video of my professional colors, so I thought I would start with this one. And the reason why I want to do the monochromatic painting is because I want to be able to learn more about my colors. And in watercolor, when you add more water and less water, you get more depth within your painting. So I think this will allow me to learn a lot about that. So if that interests you, let's get painting. Okay, so I've got my paints here. I have taped a border around. As you can see, there is some yellow here, and I want to be total honest. I did do a trial painting, which is here, so it's very similar to what I intend to do today, but I did want to do a little bit of practice because I have shown to myself that to sit down and start painting without having a plan on what you want to do, it really isn't the best thing. And I have a proof of that right here. I wanted to create a video with me using all of the colors in one video, making a monochromatic painting with each and one of them. And I didn't have a plan, and this is what I ended up making. And as you can see, it's not pretty. And it's not so much about the looks, but I think it needs to, when you're making art, it needs to have some sense and some direction. And as I was recording the video for this, I thought, this is absolutely awful, Sayla. You really need to have a plan when you're making videos. It's not about having an amazing painting, but there needs to be a little bit of a structure. So, and then actually, before I did this, I did this. As you can see, this is not monochromatic, but it was when I first painted it, and I had terrible lighting. I think it was a sunny day, and of course a sunny day with yellow, you just couldn't see. So in the end, I just discarded that video, and I just added some color pencils to make it like a finished painting, but it's definitely not monochromatic. So that is 2 videos that I have done trying to get a monochromatic painting, and they've not turned out well. And I thought I really need to be a little bit more mindful when I'm making these videos. So I did a practice one there, and now hopefully after this will be take number 3, I'm going to try and get a video that I can actually publish, because yeah, I'm not basically making it the best that I can for myself. So I've just reused the tape, and actually when I was taking this off, it peeled a little bit of the paper. So hopefully now that it has been placed and removed, it's not going to be so harsh on this sheet of paper. I'm putting the clips down because as this is on a block, when you start adding all the washes, the paper will buckle, and it's not great. So hopefully by putting the clips, it's going to keep them in place slightly better. I have put some water on the yellow ochre, but I'll do a bit more. So I'm just going to be wetting the background. Right, I have got some light wash here, and I've also pre-wet this, so it's going to make the wash even lighter. I think I will end up adding some more because watercolor does dry a lot lighter. Okay, I'm actually going to add more water because I do want this to be quite light. This is going to be just my first layer. I have got my hair dryer here ready just to speed up the process. Normally I don't, I just let it be, and actually it's quite good when I do this, because then I do other things in between. I used to not do that, just stare it, and then I ended up touching it and then just not liking the result because I was fiddling with it. But now I know that when I do something like this, like this big wash, I have to let it dry. So then I take that opportunity to do whatever I want to do around the flat, even if it's just cuddle with my cat for 10 minutes. Right, so I do want to make the sky area slightly darker, not too dark. So just add a little bit more. I'm then gonna wash on my brush. Let's start from the bottom. Okay, so this isn't fully dry, but it's mostly dry. So I have wet my size 6 round brush, and I'm gonna try and lift up. Oh no! It had some green on. Okay, I think it should be fine because I'm gonna lift up. First blooper. Oh, right, no, I think it should be fine because I am genuinely just gonna lift. Oh dear, what a disaster. So I don't know if you can appreciate this on the camera, but because it's still wet and I'm adding some water, it's pushing the paint away, but I think it's good. It's okay because I want to get blurry, more soft edges around the sun, because as we all know, the sun isn't, doesn't have sharp edges. It does reflect the water, the light, and the edges are always a bit fuzzy. Okay, so I think that's all right. Hair dryer again. So that's the first layer all dried up, and just going to be adding a little bit more pigment and then a little bit more water in a second. I want to make this first layer also quite light, as even though this isn't realistic per se, but I do want to give some realism as to how you would find nature, basically, because when you're doing a landscape and there's mountains, whatever it is in the farthest distance, even if it's buildings or trees, it's always going to be really, really light. So I think the sky is pretty much done. We'll see at the end, but I don't think I'm going to be doing much to the sky. Right, I was thinking to change the way that the mountains are, so I'm just going to make them, I'm going to start higher, and I'm going to make them more like half moon, whatever. Can't always describe what I mean, but you will see it. I think it's also helpful to fully dry your paper so that it's not warped. It doesn't warp so much. Okay, so I need to remember that I'm gonna have the sea, so I will make a horizon line so that I don't go over it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should have, no, I'll see. So there's still some degree of experimentation in this video. It's not, because I don't want to do exactly the same, because I've already shown you that previous painting. Okay. Just gonna make these curvy mountains, and they're all gonna overlap in front of each other. I do want to make the top section here slightly lighter, like I said, this is the farthest away mountain, and this section here will be covered, so I'm not too worried about that. I like slightly a darker edge there, and then just a little bit of lifting. This is still a bit wet, so I'm just basically moving the paint around rather than lifting, so I will use a little tissue. Moving away the water. I've just realized that also I shouldn't have gone all the way. Oh well, I am experimenting. Who knows, this might be another video that I don't post. Oh, maybe it will be. I am certainly learning a lot from making the videos, even if I don't post them. I'm learning about how to make the videos, about what works and what doesn't work in a painting. So yeah, it's all right. I think I will go over this one. This is just me trying to fix what I've done. So I will go over this one once it's dry, and then it's gonna come in front of this one. Yep. Alrighty. So I want to position this mountain here at the front, so it has to be slightly darker. In order to create that difference in the depths. I think this one needs to be a bit longer, elongated. Not so round. I don't know why I made it so round. I suppose I can't do anything with that one now because it's dry, but okay. That's something. And then once this one's dried, I'll make one in front, which I will add a lot more of the pigment, and it will be darker. So I'm just going with the flow. I think I'm going to, for now, let this one dry naturally, and I'm going to start with the sea, which I thought I would make a little island somewhere, but I'm going to do a little bit of a wet on wet here for the reflections. I find it works best. And now this is wet, and it will probably bleed into it, but that's okay. But I will start wetting the water under here, just for an extra 3 seconds of drying time. So I'm just using the dagger brush to wet the area because it's obviously bigger and it's faster. But then I'm just using the smaller brush for the rest. Right, so when I paint water, I have now, after a long time, realized that the closer you are to you, the bigger the shapes are, and the farthest away, the smaller the waves will be. So I'm totally drying this, not totally drying, but just removing as much pigment as possible. So the sun is here, so I want to make the reflections directly underneath. As this is just the first wash, well, second wash in the water, I'm not extremely worried about the shapes itself, because I'll be going over later, probably whilst the paper is still wet, just to create the fuzzy blur wave effect. And another thing that you can do is, if you put too much of the color, you can lift up, and I find that that actually usually is just the way that I approach it, that I do it, because I find it easier. So there's nothing wrong with lifting up paint. You can't just create the painting from beginning to end without rectifying anything. And these the ability of watercolor to be able to lift up, to be lifted up, is something you should use to your own benefit. So as you can see, this center area is slightly lighter. So I want to make the sides a little bit darker. And so now I think it's when I'm going to start doing a bit of lifting up. I'm going to dry my brush completely. I'm getting some reflection from the light. I can't always see. So this is probably not the best color to do this and film it. But why could I make my life easy when I can make it complicated? No. Doesn't make sense, Ayla. It's not sunny today. That's the reason why I need the light on, because I can't see otherwise, or the video wouldn't have a lot of light and it would be not pleasant to watch if it's too dark. I feel like you're gonna have to squint your eyes to be able to see what I'm doing if it's too dark. Okay, that's nice. It's blurry. There's some fuzziness. I have removed a little bit more of the edges here. There's slightly more pigment in this section, which is the closest to me. So I think this layer is probably ready to dry. So now I will get the hair dryer and I will dry the mountain plus the water. So the mountain is dry, the water is dry, and I was thinking, because I don't want just two mountains, I do need a little bit more difference, a third layer. So this one is at the front. If I paint another one here, this line here is gonna show through, because watercolor is transparent, even though these Yellow Ochre, it's an opaque paint. It's not fully opaque, and I've also added water, so that makes it transparent. So essentially, this mountain that I'm going to create here should have this sort of hue, and then this one will be darker, and it's going to be at the front because it's closer, it's more vibrant. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm gonna get a little bit more pigment, but not a lot, because bear in mind that there is already some color down, so that will help to add more depth to these mountain, just by the fact that I have another more pigment already at the back. So this is actually going to be the third layer on this section, because I've got the sky, the mountain, and then this, and then in here just now I just have 2 layers, but I will add another layer on top. So let's just see, what kind of mountain am I going to create? Kind of feels like it should go in the same sense, no? Like curve down into the center. So let's just try that. But I'm not gonna make it too high, so I can change the shape if I don't like it. Don't know why, you know, you sometimes make something and then you think, that doesn't look right. It needs to be a bit more like this, a bit more like that. And it's probably just preference or perhaps down to what you've mentally thought you would be creating. But yeah, it just doesn't. Okay. No, they're just kind of the same. I feel like even though it's cohesive, there needs to be some difference. Yeah, I think this needs to be. I don't know, it needs to come up higher. Like I said, I wanted to start with the mountain a bit lower, and if I didn't like it, I could just add more. Might not love it by the end of it, but it's all about what you do and what you learn throughout. I think I know, because I'm just making it completely round and it needs to be bumpy. That's right. It needs to be bumpy. Yeah, that's it. That does it for me. All right. Okay. Kind of feel like this one's definitely gonna dry darker. I don't know. Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. Right, I'm gonna go onto the water. Whilst that's drying, add a little bit more pigment. Right. So I start at the front. Like I said, I want the front section to be darker. So I've just loaded the paint onto the brush. So this is going to be the thickest. Sometimes I come and steal a little bit of pigment from one section to go to the next, like here, just because I want to build up all the layers slowly. Layering it's a great part of watercolor. You think you're finished and then you add another layer and then it makes such massive difference. So now I'm going to add some streaks and more into the center area, and then really fine lines at the back. And now the center, it's almost looking white because I'm adding more and more depth, and it's just that shine from the sun, and it's not white, but it's just because you're adding darker and darker colors around the color around it that makes it look like it's almost white. It's an illusion. Now I wanted to add some kind of island, but do I want to do that now? Don't know. Okay, I think I need to leave the water, otherwise I will be messing it up. She says, and as I proceed to continue. Anywho, right, that's it. Let's see, this one is probably, it might go a little bit lighter, but not a lot. And there isn't a massive difference. This is at the front, so this needs to be darker. And I'm feeling brave to go over this again, despite the fact this one isn't fully dry. I don't think it's going to bleed into one another, but if it does, I'm not too concerned about it. I am happy enough. I will start at the bottom section here because as the sun is up here, it will be lighter at the top and darker at the bottom. Even though this is obviously the mountain at the front and it will be darker, it still needs to have the highlights from the reflection of the sun. I'm happy enough with this monochromatic painting. I think probably at the end of the video we'll talk about the things that I feel I have learned, not just from the painting point of view, but from the video making part. So I think I will do the island. So the island, it's gonna be a little bit darker, and then it isn't gonna be very big because these are meant to be huge mountains. So this is just like a little islet. See, I might not know a word, but that doesn't stop me from saying it, because sometimes when I say it, I remember. So there you go. And that will actually show the scale of the mountains, I think. Probably put too much pigment in that. Alrighty, so let's reveal the painting, and hopefully the paper is not going to be ripped off. Yay! Yeah, so it has lost, see, my goodness, that's all the paper from the previous page. Oh no! I think I saw somebody recommended, and I have done this in the past, so I don't know why I didn't do it, that when you get some of your tape, before you put it on the paper, you stick it to your clothes, and then you're going to lose a little bit of the adhesive from it, and it won't be so rough. Oh my god. Oh no. It's okay, it's just your sketchbook, Sailor. It's all right, it's all good. Maybe this tape, it's not the best. I got it from the art shop, but I didn't want to go and buy and washi tape, because I think washi tape, it's a bit more gentle, but it's also more expensive. Come on, it's just tape. Oh boy, that's gone. Anyway, let's move forward, move past that. That's really quite nice. Yeah. All right, so that's me done with my painting. I think it's pretty. So I said I wanted to do some reflections from this video, things that I've learned. Thing number one, if you have a plan, stick to it. Otherwise you end up panicking. I didn't talk about that, but I did get a little bit panicky in myself, thinking, oh no, how am I going to recreate these mountains? How am I going to make them look that are within more distance and create that depth that I was talking about? But then also, because I didn't stick to my plan, I created a slightly different painting, which allowed me to learn. So stick to your plan, but also if you've done something that it was not your plan, just go with the flow. and just keep painting, Sayla. Keep painting. I think I'll definitely be making more of these monochromatic paintings. They're not all going to be landscapes. I do think the next one I want to make it into a floral because I love flowers, and I might use the pink color. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, if you love seeing me messed up, get confused with my words, and just enjoy me painting, come back for some more. Thanks for watching.